Superhero games have been getting a new lease on life thanks to the amazing work of Insomniac with their Spider-Man series, as well as some less appreciated games like the Guardians of the Galaxy game published by Square Enix. Disney and Marvel recently reportedly came to the conclusion that they've been seriously missing out on potential profits in the gaming world, which is pretty accurate because ever since the MCU really took off, there's been a strange lack of high-profile Marvel games, and it doesn't help that some of the biggest Marvel games to come out recently were stinkers like the Avengers. And over the last few years, Marvel games like Insomniac's Wolverine and EA's Black Panther have been confirmed, but one of the most interesting to be confirmed is a massive Iron Man game that's being built on Unreal Engine 5 by Motive Studio, and we just got a new info dump on this game thanks to some job listings that may have given a little too much away about the project. So let us know in the comments what you think about these new Iron Man game details, drop a like on the video, and let's get into this. So, according to a recent job listing for a senior system designer that showed up on Motive Studio's website, the Iron Man team is looking for people who have, quote, knowledge of recent titles and trends in action games and RPGs and the ability to apply insights from them, end quote. Up to this point, both EA and Motive Studio have been extremely secretive about what kind of game Iron Man is going to be. You know, Motive Studio are a pretty interesting team, and they've worked on some games like Star Wars Squadrons and the recent Dead Space Remake, but they've never actually worked on an RPG, so this is a pretty interesting little piece of information to be in a job listing for them. Now, it is worth noting that just because the job listing is looking for someone who knows about RPG mechanics, that doesn't mean Iron Man is going to be a full-fledged RPG. You know, tons of AAA games these days have RPG mechanics, or light RPG mechanics, you know, things like skill trees, or character and weapon perks, and I wouldn't be surprised if these, quote, RPG mechanics in the job description end up having to do with various potential suit upgrades and abilities, or maybe some light dialogue choices. I'm not really expecting Iron Man to be a full-fledged RPG, but I am definitely expecting it to have an open world that you can freely fly around, so you can feel what it's like to be Iron Man roaming around a giant landscape. Personally, I'm expecting this game to be similar in structure to Saints Row or Far Cry, you know, where the story will play out in a linear fashion, but throughout the journey, you unlock tons of character upgrades and new gadgets to fine-tune your playstyle, and there'll likely be tons of side missions to stumble upon in the open world, giving you chances to earn XP or see more of what the Iron Man arsenal has to offer. And as for the, RPG side of things, I'm expecting it to be akin to Hogwarts Legacy, if anything. You know, very light RPG elements, but still enough to call it an action RPG, just nowhere near something like The Witcher or Skyrim. The fact that the job listing asks that the new person have experience with RPG mechanics as opposed to just asking for someone who's worked on an RPG before kind of gives away that Iron Man is not going to be a full-fledged role-playing game, but honestly I think that's okay. Motive Studio are really good at crafting single-player experiences, as evidenced by their work on the Dead Space remake, and the flight combat they made for Star Wars Squadrons is also probably going to play a role in the immersive Iron Man flight mechanics. I just don't think this game needs to be a full-fledged RPG in order to be fun or do the character justice, so if Motive want to work on a more fine-tuned story and the best Iron Man gameplay possible instead of making a branching story with a bunch of in-depth RPG mechanics, I'm perfectly okay with that. But what do you guys think? Would you rather Iron Man have some RPG mechanics or just be a full-fledged RPG? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments, drop a like on the video, and we'll see you in the next one.